So, our ninth annual Big Red Food Drive is coming up. Here's our promotional material. Feel free to share this with any clubs, professors, groups that you know would be interested in volunteering, even just friends. To kick it off, I'll tell you guys a little bit about our organization. Cornell Hunger Relief has been a program of the Public Service Center and now the Einhorn Center for about 20 years. And we work to combat food insecurity in Ithaca and Tompkins County by educating the Cornell community on local hunger issues. We also work through the year to organize projects like the Big Red Food Drive. We contribute towards reducing hunger insecurity in Ithaca and the Tompkins County area. And we also empower the general Cornell population with the knowledge of pressing hunger issues and the wastage of unspent BRBs. So, a little overview of the state of hunger in our community. More can be found from Tompkins Food Future. They're doing awesome community engaged research. But in Tompkins County, 14,650 individuals are food insecure. That's an estimate, but it very well may be higher. And we also know that 1 in 6 children are at risk of hunger. And then at Cornell, we know from past research that BRBs don't roll over in the fall semester. And once May 30th hits, you're not going to be able to spend any of your BRBs from this spring. So we want to encourage all students with extra BRBs to use them to support this year's food drive.
Yes, right there. So we don't want you guys to let your BRBs get go to waste. So we want to encourage you guys to make donations either through physical food items, or by BRBs themselves. And so how this will work will be, we want you guys to just come over to our locations at RPCC or Noise and make the donation there. And so these food items go to local residents in the Tompkins County community, to people in need, and to people suffering from food insecurity. And the Big Red Food Drive, it's made possible through us, as well as our collaboration with the Friendship Donations Network. And we'll be working hand in hand with them to make sure that this process goes smoothly. And then for the next slide. So this slide just presents how this Big Red Food Drive will take majority of the month of May, and it will take place on bare necessities and Jansen's. And as I just said before, these are some ways that you can donate. And if you guys haven't signed up to volunteer already, the sign up sheet will be here and accessible through the link. But if you guys aren't able to volunteer your time to this, Big Red Food Drive, other ways that you can get involved are by just visiting our locations, by donating physical items or your BRBs, but overall just spreading awareness of what's going on in the community by telling your friends about this Big Red Food Drive that we're hosting, and just sharing the event on social media so that we can get a majority of the campus involved in this. And so how it works is that on weekdays, there will be 4 one-hour shifts, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on weekends, it'll mimic the same thing with 1-hour shifts from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., actually 3-hour shifts. And so at the end of each, so the last shift for each day, your responsibility would be to count the food donations and record the counts before the FDN volunteer arrives to pick up the donations. Yeah, so volunteers from the Friendship Donations Network will drive up to campus and pick up the food donations. And this will be collected at the end of the last table shift. Now arriving for your volunteer shift, if you guys have already signed up for it, you indicated which time you are interested in participating in this Big Red Food Drive. And so we just asked you to arrive promptly. So if you signed up for an 11 a.m. shift, arrive at 11 a.m. and meet the CHR member there, just so that you're aware of the process and how it's going. So for RPCC, the location will be by Bare Necessities on the ground floor. And for Noise, it'll be on the second floor near Jansen's Market. And now, if anything comes up, as it usually does because it's final season, if you need to cancel your shift, we kindly ask that you contact us 24 hours in advance so that we can make up for your absence. And you can do this by emailing Cornell Hunger Relief at cornell.edu with your name and reason for canceling. So just make sure that you stay on top of this because we want to make sure that you stay true to your responsibility. And now duties during your shift. So this mainly has to do with shift etiquette. And you want to stand in front of the table and kindly ask people to donate as they walk past. You can do this by handing out quarter cards or just being really engaging with the public. And just try to make sure to be kind, polite, and don't make them feel forced to donate. And so, just some other helpful hints. Just feel free to give a quarter card to anyone who passed by or seems interested. And when someone donates, just kindly thank them for their service and let them know that they're making a real difference for the community. And for keeping the actual donations, just keep them in the container bins within our tabling space so that we make sure that it's not in the way of other people who are passing by. And for more information on your shift, so what you can collect are unopened, non-perishable food. But what you cannot collect are open, perishable food items that need to be refrigerated, such as yogurt or other items that are perishable. So we can use an open box with individually wrapped cereal bars, but we cannot use an open package of pasta, cereal, etc., because this food is going out to the public and it just wouldn't make sense to have open food being available to them. And so just reiterating from before, oh, sorry. Yeah, actually, we don't need that. I'll pass it on to Kayla, who will go talk to you guys about the COVID guidelines.
Yeah, so although mask requirements have been lifted for most on-campus locations, masking is recommended as a preventative measure when social distancing cannot be maintained. And this is because we'll be handling food that will be distributed to the public and people will be eating it. So we want to prevent any potential spread of germs. And at the table, to prevent overcrowding, we encourage physical distancing. And since the tables will be indoors, if you feel like at any point that there's too many people at the table or people are crowding around the table can be moved outside to increase space between everyone. We will also have hand sanitizer and extra masks available at the collection table. And if any of the people who are donating feel like they would like some, you can offer them to them, but it's not really necessary. And our goal is just to aid people, students in dropping off their donations in an efficient and safe manner. So now we're going to cover preferred food donations. The Friendship Donations Network can use any food item, but strives to provide healthy, nutritious foods to those in their programs. So if anyone asks you what types of food they should buy with their BRBs, you can suggest to buy non-perishables like peanut butter, granola bars, low sugar cereal, kid-friendly healthy snacks, nuts, crackers, beans, lentils, or brown rice, raisins, and other dried fruit, whole wheat pasta, canned fruits, and canned vegetables. And we prefer to not collect bread because it can go bad and it needs to be refrigerated. But if someone were to bring it in, you can still take it. And we don't only collect food, we can also take pads, tampons, and feminine products. So yeah. So at the end of your shift, the first, second, and third shift volunteers should wait for the next shift volunteers to arrive. And if you feel like they're not arriving or it's past the time that they're supposed to come, you can check their name and phone number on the sign-up sheet and contact them if you feel like that's necessary. And once they do show up, you can make sure that they know what they're supposed to be doing. And you can also share any advice that you have that might be helpful to them for tabling, like any experiences that you had that were good, or any tips and tricks that you have from your own experience from tabling. And fourth shift volunteers are responsible for inventory and organizing the food donations. So you guys should wait for an e-board member to come and break down the tabling setup and also help load donations into the Friendship Donation Network volunteers car. So specifically for last shift volunteers, we'll need to inventory the food donations before they're collected at the end of your shift. So bring your laptop, and starting at like 30 minutes before the end of your shift, you can start counting and recording the items collected in the bins. And we'll talk about how you guys can do that in the next couple of slides. And then at the end of your shift, you can look for the Friendship Donation Network volunteers who will arrive a little bit early. So that's why you should start counting the items like around 30 minutes before the end of your shift. And then they'll help load all the items into their cars.
And that's most important for those working at Noise because they're going to swing by Noise first and then our PCC. And now I'll talk a little bit about the food inventory spreadsheets. They're pretty simple, but just in case there's any questions that come up during tabling, this is a good reference. Here's an example of what it looks like. You're going to use the different tabs at the bottom to categorize the item you're inventorying, whether it's a beverage or a dry good or single portion items, and then you will type the quantity and type into the blue cell and indicate if it is in the appropriate standard size using small, medium, or large categories. So as you can see, you'll put the quantity under the size that it is. So it will consider it small if it's a single portion, medium if it's a standard can size or a packaging size, and large if it's a good with multiple things inside of it. And then if you get, say, a regular box of mac and cheese, that would be a medium item versus a single portion Easy Mac packet or one of those little bowls, that would be a single item in the small column. And for an open case of those regular sized boxes, that would be in the medium column. You would indicate the amount of medium boxes you got. For an open box of single portion Easy Mac packets, you would mark down the number of individual packets in the small column. And then if that was a large case that's unopened, you would put that in the large column. So you are ready to volunteer. Thank you so much for signing up, attending this volunteer training, and supporting the Big Red Food Drive. Go out into the world, spread the word that your BRBs are not rolling over. People need to know, not everyone knows. And this is a really important way to prevent food waste and really connect with the community. So thank you all. Feel free to reach out to our email if you have any questions, and check in with us if you have any concerns leading up to your shift. We're really receptive to communication, so just reach out with anything. Thank you. The code word is kiwi.